Okay guys, welcome back to part 2. If you don't know me, my name is Lindsay, the housewife historian, and I am, of course, putting out as much free content as I can on YouTube and TikTok and such. But unfortunately, because the Real Housewives of New Jersey do their thing when they get mad, when people are reporting the truth, reporting details, reporting facts, they don't like that. So they try to violate your account, basically. So I have to take my information to Patreon because I really have no other option at this point. I've talked about this in another video, but let's get into this. I want to pick up where I left back off. Really quick recap. We're talking about what everyone else in the Bravo community is talking about, and that is Louis and this video of him on Teresa's podcast, which you can find on my Instagram and my TikTok. Myself, TreyFab2022, and Bambi_4L83. All featured in Reality Blurb. Shout out Reality Blurb. With the clip from the episode because it's since been completely deleted and scraped from the internet. But again, some people trying to say that we were making headlines out of it. Absolutely not. We have the transcripts. You can read the conversation. You can hear the conversation. And once you do, there's no going back. And I think that's what the problem is here now with a lot of fans, because Teresa, again, instead of saying this was wrong, inappropriate, whatever the case may be, she said, you know what? I know best. My fans don't know shit. The community doesn't know shit. And I'm just going to post a way of my daughters, dressed in this specific attire while we're on vacation with Jen and Bill Aiden. Okay? Now, hear me out. Everything in this video is alleged and for educational purposes only, but I have a theory as far as Jennifer Aiden is concerned. And that theory is the fact that Jennifer came onto the show with the ill intent of taking Teresa's spot. She knew Teresa couldn't be on the Housewives forever. She's going on 14 seasons right now. And Jennifer thought she would be the gal for the job. She would take over for the OG, right? Like, hear me out. She gets on the show. She's not totally herself, right? Because she's not tweaked and lipoed and all that jazz yet. I think she, fairly was still having babies, done having babies, whatever. As the seasons go by, you see the change in Jennifer from what she was, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, was it? To now, it's very, very different. And I think that she did that on purpose. And while she was trying to get herself together, she was befriending Teresa and befriending Teresa's fan base as well. Because I also want to point out that Jennifer doesn't have her own fan base. There's not people out here fanning Jennifer. There's just not. I mean, there might be one here or there, like a straggle tooth. You might find one, but certainly not like Teresa once had. And so that was perfect because she's like, well, then perfect, that'll be my fan base. And I think that while she was, making her moves and doing little stuff behind the scenes, getting herself together, preparing herself for her big role of, the OG of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, she was befriended Teresa and she went along with it. And she probably was a good friend to her for a couple of years until she realized that Teresa didn't really give a damn about her. And I think that ultimately came this season because of the fact that Teresa didn't even pick Jennifer Aiden over Danielle Cabral, who is still a newbie, behind the ears, nothing against Danielle at all. But to Jennifer, Danielle is beneath her and Teresa by a lot. And so it's appalling to her that Teresa would still choose to affiliate with Danielle, even though the Tipsy and Tulum party, everything happened with Jennifer. So she got a good look at what Teresa was really about. And I think that solidified for her, it's time to make my move. And my theory, as I continue, it's taking me a few minutes to get here, my theory is that Jennifer has been secretly sabotaging Teresa in hopes of her moving on to another show, getting a spinoff, going to a different network, whatever it was. She don't care where she's going. She just needs her to go. And in my opinion, Jennifer takes opportunities such as this now that she knows that Teresa's really not a friend to her. She takes the opportunities like this to basically sabotage Teresa. Because in my opinion, I think that she's probably telling Teresa to post some of this stuff. And she's encouraging it. And she's saying, yeah, great idea. Post that. Say this. Comment this. Do a video of this. Or whatever the case may be. Because I cannot think that if they had an opinion such as our opinion that this is inappropriate, uncomfortable, yada, 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 that Jennifer would encourage it, because regardless, they would know the sort of backlash that Teresa's getting, because it's obvious to all of us, and all of us are sort of looking around like, where in the hell is their PR people? Which I'm telling you guys, they don't have any. Bravo has PR. That's it. They don't, but I don't think they have that in their like funding, if you will, and so they make all these terrible media mistakes, like these Instagram statements, and now this and the podcast. I mean, it makes me sick to think how many people heard that podcast before it was posted, because they have a whole production. Now the podcast, they do have a production company that does, right? We've seen the producer on her podcast before, same producer as the Namaste Bitches podcast. I think they stayed, side note, little T, I think they stayed with Teresa over Melissa Pfeister, which was kind of crazy, because I'm pretty sure Melissa Pfeister, that was like her, those were her people, because Teresa and Melissa Pfeister were on iHeart, if you remember, and I don't know the details of what happened with iHeart, but like I don't know if I want to say there was a fallout, but there was like some discussion about like Teddy and Tamara's podcast, and like the guests that they were getting versus Namaste Bitches, which barely got any guests. I think they did guests at the very beginning. There was a text message released from Melissa's old nose, Gabriella, that showed Melissa and Teresa corresponding. They were texting. Melissa Pfeister from the podcast was texting like, you know, basically Tamara and Teddy have all these guests. How's this happening? Melissa Pfeister tells Teresa, like, you got to ask people. Teresa's response is like, I'm too famous to be out here asking people to be on my podcast. Like, what the fuck? What? And basically, Melissa Pfeister responds like, no, like, Tamara's out here busting her ass trying to get people on her show. Like, I know it sounds wild, but the truth of the matter is Teresa definitely believes that she's too famous to ask people to come on her podcast. And that's the difference between Tamara and Teresa. Tamara puts in the legwork. She's not scared to ask people. I don't know how all the other podcasters do it, but that's how Melissa Pfeister, you know, was alleged it was being done with Teddy and Tamara. So anyway, guys, comment your thoughts on my theory. I want to know if there are scenes or anything that's coming to mind that makes you think that I'm onto something here with this idea that Jennifer has been sort of in the works to take Teresa's spot, because who else was going to do it? It couldn't have been, you know, can't be Melissa. And she's been making moves to align herself so that when Teresa, you know, goes bye-bye, she's right there to take that spot. And that there really won't even be anyone, you know, any question, who else would it be? And I think that the only problem she didn't factor in was that she is so, what is the word? I don't even know if I want to use the word obnoxious, if that's it. But like, I don't think Andy Cohen, I'm sorry, he's never liked her. I've said that from the beginning. That's why she didn't used to like me. He doesn't like her. He doesn't. She just rubs him the wrong way for whatever reason. He's never really liked her. He dogged her mansion when it shared a driveway. They redirected their whole driveway over that. Okay, like it, and it's been washed from the internet as well. That's always a good, when you remember something, you go back to look for it and it's gone. It's a good sign that you're onto something. Okay, and I just am kind of like thinking that Jennifer is not in a good spot right now, because she is not in very good graces with Bravo and production, and after everything this season that's happened. And I also think that's why she's taking the opportunity to make Teresa look bad without getting her hands dirty. Do you see what I'm saying? Because honestly, like all this stuff with like Louis and these, you know, the young girl talk and all of that, honestly, it's kind of, you know, it's bad. It's when you didn't think it could get worse than what we had already seen and heard. I mean, it's not good at all. So I kind of feel like Jennifer might be thinking that she could somehow redeem herself. And she's like, if I can get Teresa, you know, completely canceled over here. Let me get Teresa and Louis canceled real quick while we're on vacation. then maybe that's what she's doing. It's just my thoughts today, guys. Just my thoughts. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you hit that like and share button. Check out my content everywhere else, and have a great weekend.